Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video about performance improvement plans. Yes, the dreaded PIP. I'm Chelsea Conrad, career coach at Proactive Happiness. So I really wanted to put this video together because I come across people all the time who end up on a performance improvement plan. They've never been in this position before and they really don't know what it means. It's really hard to get a straightforward answer from anybody when you're in this situation. You know, HR and management, their hands are a little bit tied. They're in a bit of a difficult position, so they can only be so honest with you. And then on the other side, you have your friends and family who will give you an honest answer, but they always have a biased perspective, right? They are looking out for your best interest. They don't want to see you get hurt, so they are going to give you a biased response. So in this video today, we're going to talk about a few things that will help you in your current situation. The first thing we're going to talk about is what is a PIP. Here I am with this piece of paper in my hands. What does this even mean? Second thing we're going to talk about is, does this mean I'm being fired? Okay, that's obviously a concern for anybody in this day and age with their job, right? Third thing we'll talk about is, okay, so I'm on a PIP. So what do I do now? What are my options? So we'll talk about all three of those things in today's video. Okay, so let's talk about what is a PIP. All right, so obviously it's a performance improvement plan. We've got that much, right? So what does it really mean? So effectively, a performance improvement plan, the document itself, the whole process, everything is your boss's way of communicating to you that you are not meeting expectations, okay? For whatever reason, you're not meeting expectations. So it's an HR document, a human resources document that you will literally need to sign that lays out steps that you need to take for X amount of time, right? Sometimes you'll see them 3 months, 6 months. I think the longest I've personally ever seen is 6 months, but typically they're shorter than that. So it will lay out some things that you need to accomplish in order to stay employed with the company. So within the document itself, it should say some things like, you know, consequences will include blah, 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 up to and including termination. Effectively, at the end of a PIP, if you have not made progress, that will likely be the outcome, is that you will most likely be terminated. So if you have not signed this document yet, in most situations, you will be required to sign it because this is a legal HR document. If you have not signed this yet, make very sure that the steps that are in there that are being required of you, make sure that those are very concrete and that they are measurable. Take the subjectivity out of it so that you can very clearly say at the end of the day, yes, I've done that. Yes, I've done that. I should be fine. Effectively, what this is kind of your last chance, right? So from management's perspective, from HR's perspective, they have given you the resources to succeed in your role and you have not done it. So this is effectively your last chance to show them what you can do. And yes, it's serious business. Okay, so now that we've talked through what a PIP is, let's get to the question that's on everybody's mind. Am I getting fired? Okay, well, the quick answer is not necessarily. So what I like to tell people to do at this point is to really dig into your softer side at this point, okay? So start to think about your past relationships with your boss. Have you had, personality conflicts with your boss? Are you constantly butting heads? Is it just a contentious relationship all the way around? If it is, that's probably not a good indicator. Do you have past performance issues? And really be honest with yourself on this. Have you been experiencing a pattern of performance issues? Again, if you have, and you're being honest with yourself about this, this could very well be the last legal step that the company needs to take to get you out the door. So be honest with yourself and really think about that. And then the last thing I like to encourage my clients to focus on at this point, and again, getting into the softer side of things, is I really encourage them to think about the relationship with not only their leader, but then also about the interactions that they had when the PIP was put in place. So here you are, you're in a conference room, you're in an office, they're giving you the PIP, and they're presenting it to you, they being your leader and somebody from HR most likely. So how was that interaction? Did you get the sense from your leader that they were committed to helping you, that they were going to be supportive, or was the interaction pretty cold? Okay, so really think about what your gut is telling you when we phrase that question, okay? Because that can be a big indicator. There are, for better or worse, sometimes this is the last legal step that they need to take in order to be able to terminate you without fearing repercussions on the company. So if they have already made up their mind, you should be able to sense that a little bit if you really think about the feeling that you got from your interactions during that meeting. It's possible that your leader really does want you to pull through in this situation. And if that's the case, you should be getting that vibe from them. You should be sensing the support. You should be feeling like they are going to be committed to helping you through this process. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is, okay, great. So now what do I do, right? Like, I'm on this PIP. What happens now? Well, there are a few options in front of you at this point. The first option is the Jerry Maguire, right? I'm out of here. Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me? Okay, please don't do this. Please don't do this. Don't burn that bridge, and do not put yourself in a situation where you just have to take a job just to get a job. All right, so realistically speaking, now what are your options? So the first thing you have to do before you decide on your path forward is figure out why you're having these issues. Okay, are you in the wrong job? Are you in the wrong career? Is it just your relationship with your leader? Is it the company? Any number of things. You've got to get clear, is it that you just don't give a shit anymore, right? Whatever it is, you've got to get clear on what it is. Because if you leave here, you go take another job, same job, and you start having the same issues, it's all for nothing, right? So do yourself a favor and think about why you're having these issues in this place and time. Okay, once you get clear on that, that will help you figure out, okay, do I want to dig in and commit myself to getting through this PIP, or is it time for me to make a change? And there are always times in our lives where we need a little nudge to get ourselves moving in the right direction. And sometimes, even though it comes in a really ugly package, sometimes that's what a PIP is. It's a clear indicator that this isn't where we should be and that it's time to move on. Okay, so let's talk options. So your first option, obviously, is to start looking for another job. If you come to the conclusion that, this is a circumstantial thing, I'm just not fitting in at this company, I don't like the style of the company, I don't like the culture, whatever it is, time to start looking for a job. Please do not leave your current gig. If at all possible, do not leave your current gig. Suck up the emotion, pull up your bootstraps, and tough it out for a little bit. Start looking for another job, but be really mindful of not abandoning your current role until it's time to go. Okay? You don't want to burn that bridge. You have put in the time and effort to work at the company. Leave on a good note. Believe me, you will do yourself a favor in the long run. Okay? Keep that bridge intact. So obviously that's one option. Your other option is the obvious, to figure out how to succeed through the PIP. Okay? Big undertaking, but it's something that you can do. And two of the things that I always tell my clients at this point that you've got to do if you really want to succeed on this is that you've got to swallow your pride and you've got to ask for help, okay? From whoever that looks like. And it may be your leader, but you know what? It may not be. It may be your peers. It may be former coworkers. It could be a lot of different people. But if you really want to succeed in making it through this PIP, you've got to swallow some pride and you've got to buckle down and you've really got to give it your all. This is the time to bring your A game. Okay, so that is our PIP in a nutshell video. Some key takeaways to be really mindful of as you go through this process. First thing, get the emotion out of it. I know it's really easy to say that and it's really hard to do, but really focus to take the emotion out of it. This is an emotional time. I understand that, but you will do yourself much more harm than good in the long run if you're reactive and if you bring emotion into it. So be really mindful about being careful not to burn that bridge, coming out of it in the best possible way. Be an adult about it, suck it up, okay? Next thing is, like I just said, it's go time. Bring your A game. If you are gonna go and try and succeed through this PIP, bring your A game. That is your only option. And then the last thing I'd like to mention, to reiterate, is to be honest with yourself through this process. Being on a PIP does not mean that you're a bad person. Being on a PIP does not mean you're a failure. Being on a PIP means that for one reason or another, you are not in the right place. So it's time to fix that. However, that needs to be fixed, okay? So be honest with yourself through this process and start working to fix what needs to be fixed. Okay, so if you need help, this is a tough process. I absolutely understand this. I talk to people about this all the time. If you need help going through the process, look us up, proactivehappiness.com. We wish you the best of luck, and we'll see you next time.